Liverpool rocked by shock twists on and off the pitch. Don't miss a second. Subscribe now for instant Reds updates, exclusives, and breaking alerts.
News headline: Disillusioned Arne Slot given minimum target to save Liverpool job as shock Real Madrid claim emerges. Liverpool manager Arne Slot needs to guide the team to the Champions League next season if he is to have any chance of staying on in his role at Anfield, according to a reliable journalist, while another source has claimed that the Dutchman is disillusioned at the Premier League club and believes that he is good enough to be in charge of Real Madrid. Slot's future has long been in doubt, and Liverpool's 2-1 defeat to Manchester City at home on Sunday is only going to fuel speculation that the Dutchman's days at Anfield are numbered. The defending Premier League champions are now 6th in the table, 5 points behind 4th-placed Manchester United. Liverpool FC journalist David Lynch revealed on Sunday in the aftermath of the defeat that Arne Slot is safe for now, but the club's owners, Fenway Sports Group (FSG), are already working behind the scenes should they need to pull the trigger. Team Talk's transfer correspondent Fraser Fletcher has reported that Xabi Alonso is willing to take charge of Liverpool, with the Spaniard without a managerial role at the moment following his departure from Real Madrid last month. ESPN journalist Mark Ogden has now claimed that Slot needs to finish in the Champions League places to have any chance of surviving as the Liverpool manager. The reliable journalist has also tipped Slot to leave at the end of the season and believes that Liverpool and Bayern Munich will be in the fight for Alonso, with company back to replace Pep Guardiola as the Manchester City manager. Ogden wrote on ESPN, Mohamed Salah's explosive comments about his relationship with Slot in December highlighted tensions within the squad, so the former Feyenoord coach needs a convincing end to the season to increase his chances of keeping his job. Liverpool are still in the Champions League and FA Cup, but they're slipping in the battle to secure a top 5 spot in the Premier League, especially after Sunday's 2-1 capitulation at the hands of Man City. If Liverpool fail to secure a Champions League spot, Slot will struggle to survive. Regarding the most likely outcome, Ogden noted, Slot goes, but Liverpool could face a battle with Bayern for Alonso. Arne Slot believes Real Madrid would sue him. Report. Much has been made over the past several weeks about Liverpool's stance on Slot, and now a new report has outlined how the 47-year-old Dutchman feels at Anfield. The report has claimed that Slot is unhappy with his current status at Liverpool and will review his options in the coming weeks. Slot was not happy that Liverpool sold Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich in the summer of 2025, against his wishes. The Dutchman is disillusioned at Liverpool, according to the report, although he wants to see out the season and make sure that the Merseyside club qualify for the 2026-27 campaign. The report about Slot and Liverpool concluded by noting he believes that his style of play would be better suited to a continental side such as Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. He also believes that leaving under his own terms would give him better opportunities, and he might exercise that option. Alvaro Arboleda was appointed the Real Madrid manager last month, following the departure of Xabi Alonso. Sources have told our transfer insider Graham Bailey that Madrid have shortlisted 4 managers as potential candidates to replace Arboleda in the summer of 2026. Slot does not feature on that list. Former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta, Los Blancos legend Zinedine Zidane, and ex-Chelsea chief Enzo Maresca are on the Spanish Giants' radar. Latest Liverpool transfer news: Ibrahima Konate deadline, Curtis Jones demands. Meanwhile, Liverpool are said to be willing to sign an Italian right-back who is starring in the Premier League. Our transfer insider Graham Bailey has reported on the deadline that Liverpool have given to Ibrahima Konate regarding signing a new deal with the defender out of contract at the defending Premier League champions at the end of the season. And finally, Graham Bailey has revealed the assurances that Curtis Jones has demanded from Liverpool to commit his long-term future to the club.
News headline: Carragher joins calls for Liverpool to sack Slot after embarrassing statistic emerges. Jamie Carragher has backed himself into a corner with his stance on whether or not Liverpool should sack Arne Slot, and after Sunday's defeat, the only option is for FSG to wield the axe. It was never going to be easy for Liverpool to defend their title when making so many changes to their squad in such a short space of time. However, few would have predicted just how far Liverpool would fall, and failure to win at home against Manchester City on Sunday has thrown up a damning statistic. Over their last 20 Premier League matches, Liverpool have returned a record of 6 wins, 6 draws, and 8 defeats. That equates to a lowly winning percentage of just 30%. Over the course of a full campaign, a win percentage of 30% combined with a handful of draws would see a team narrowly avoid relegation and finish midway down the second half of the table. Of course, Liverpool's 5-match winning streak at the beginning of the campaign has spared Liverpool blushes with regards to any prospects of a relegation scrap. But the dire form over the last 20 matches, more than half a season, has raised very real fears Liverpool will miss out on Champions League qualification, even though 5th spot is on course to be enough to qualify once again. Liverpool currently sits 6th, 4 points behind Chelsea and 5 points behind Manchester United, who are both surging. It's not a coincidence both teams have rediscovered their top form since making managerial changes around the turn of the year. And speaking back in late January, Reds icon Jamie Carragher insisted Slot will be in serious danger of being sacked and wouldn't have a leg to stand on if UCL qualification is missed. Quote, "Liverpool, I think as a club and a support, can accept an almost collective responsibility around not winning the league this year and not challenging," said Carragher a fortnight ago. "They'll accept it, not good enough, but they'll accept it. But once you start seeing what Manchester United have done in the last couple of weeks and what Chelsea have done, and when you start seeing where Liverpool could actually finish outside the Champions League positions, as I said, I really fear for them because they're not equipped for Premier League football. Once you start fearing Champions League qualification for next season, that's when I think we've got a completely different proposition when we're talking about the manager's job. That, for me, is completely different. If we're talking about not winning the league or challenging, that's collective responsibility. Liverpool don't win the league every year. Not making the Champions League from champions, spending £450 million and having the highest wage bill in the league, which is the biggest determining factor normally about where you finish in the league, I think you've got serious questions to ask. When asked by presenter Dave Jones if it's Champions League qualification or bust, Carragher replied, "Yeah. Listen, I think some of the criticism and disrespect he's had from Liverpool supporters has been far too much, considering he won the league title last season. But if you don't qualify for the Champions League, having won the title the season before and spent as much as Liverpool have, I don't think you've got a leg to stand on." And after the 2-1 defeat to City on Sunday, Carragher revealed he no longer thinks or believes Liverpool will finish in the top 5. As such, and taking his prior comments into account, Liverpool would be justified in sacking Slot in the summer, and the Dutchman would not be in a position to defend his record. Asked if he thinks Liverpool will make the UCL spots, Carragher told Sky Sports after the City loss, "No. Right now, I don't. They would have to have a huge upturn in form, and the ones above them are in great form." On how damaging the City defeat truly is, Carragher added, "It's a bad one. When you look at the league for Liverpool, it looks like a long way to get into the top 5 Champions League positions. There's a gap now. You can make that up, but Liverpool will have to do well in the 2 cup competitions to save the season." Latest Liverpool news: Konate, Jones, contracts. In other news, Ibrahima Konate's stance on signing a new contract at Anfield has angered Liverpool, who've just launched a countermeasure. Elsewhere, Curtis Jones will demand firm assurances over his long-term future at Liverpool before the summer, with the midfielder increasingly concerned that the club are preparing to move him on, as Team Talk sources confirm interest from Tottenham and other Premier League sides.
News headline: Liverpool considering bid for £50 million Italian right-back after Arne Slot instructions, report. Liverpool manager Arne Slot has identified a right-back to add to his squad next season, according to a report, as Team Talk reveals how much the Italian star will cost, with Manchester United and Newcastle United also keen on him. Jeremy Frimpong and Connor Bradley are the 2 recognized right-backs in the current Liverpool squad who lost Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid in the summer of 2025. Frimpong joined Liverpool from Bayer Leverkusen as a replacement for Alexander-Arnold, who turned down multiple offers of a new deal to swap Anfield for Estadio Bernabeu. Frimpong has had injury problems this season and has been able to make only 19 appearances in a Liverpool shirt. Bradley, too, has had fitness issues and will not play again this season due to a knee injury, with Sportsboom reporting that Liverpool are not sure if the right-back will be available to feature at the start of the 2026-27 campaign. Sportsboom has also revealed Liverpool's desire to sign Michael Coyote from Brentford in the summer of 2026. The Merseyside club, who are owned by Fenway Sports Group, are said to be considering a move for the Italian right-back. Liverpool manager Arne Slot is reported to have been impressed by the 21-year-old, who initially joined Brentford on loan from Fiorentina in January 2025 before the move was made permanent in May. Slot has reportedly told the Liverpool recruitment team to look for more dynamic options at the right side of defense. The Liverpool boss has been impressed with Coyote's long throws, bustling runs down the flank, and incredible work rate. How much Liverpool would have to pay for Michael Coyote? While we cannot confirm whether or not Liverpool are planning to bid for Coyote when the transfer window opens in the summer of 2026, we have been told that the Reds could sign a new right-back. Our transfer insider, Dean Jones, said on January 19th, Liverpool could look at 4 or 5 more significant signings at the end of this season, and that would mean more adaptation time needed for the squad. It was a big summer for them in 2025, and it has taken time for their signings to find their feet. It's still tough for some of them. But sources are indicating that they are still very much going into the market for a center-back, despite deciding not to get involved in a battle with Manchester City to sign Mark Guehi. And there are also hints that the Reds will sign another right-back, left-back, and a central midfielder. They may even sign a new right-sided attacker if Mohamed Salah leaves. It's pretty alarming when you think about the depth of it, and also there is still the question over Arne Slot. He was supposed to sign a new contract before the end of this season. Will they still go ahead with that? Our transfer insider Graham Bailey reported on February 7th about interest from Manchester United in Coyote. Sources have told us that Newcastle United are also monitoring the situation of the Italy under-21 right-back. We understand that Brentford will want at least £50 million, €57.4 million, $68.4 million for Coyote, who himself is not pushing for a move away from the London club. Latest Liverpool transfer news. Ibrahima Konate deadline, Curtis Jones demands. Meanwhile, sources have told our transfer insider, Graham Bailey, that Liverpool have given Ibrahima Konate a deadline to accept their latest offer of a new contract. Graham Bailey has also revealed the demands that Curtis Jones has made of Liverpool to sign a new contract. And finally, Liverpool are ready to sell a winger for a £16 million profit in the summer of 2026.
News headline: Midfielder makes Liverpool demands as FSG hand Easter deadline to contract rebel. Liverpool midfielder Curtis Jones has made it clear what needs to happen for him to sign a new contract, sources have told Team Talk, as the club's owners, Fenway Sports Group, FSG, give an ultimatum to Ibrahima Konate over a new contract. Jones was the subject of interest from Tottenham Hotspur in the January transfer window, but the midfielder is still at Liverpool. The 25-year-old came through the Liverpool Youth Academy to establish himself in the first team and is under contract at the defending Premier League champions until the summer of 2027. Curtis Jones makes Liverpool demands. Sources have told our transfer insider, Graham Bailey, that Tottenham are still interested in Jones, who has drawn attention from Newcastle United too. Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest have also made enquiries about Jones. We understand that while Jones has demanded assurances over his long-term future before signing a new contract with Liverpool, the midfielder is concerned that Liverpool were willing to move him on in the middle of the season. Jones has made 210 appearances for Liverpool so far in his career, scoring 19 goals and providing 23 assists in the process. The English midfielder has made 10 starts in the Premier League and 4 starts in the Champions League for Arne Slot's side so far this campaign. Ibrahima Konate contract ultimatum. Ibrahima Konate's future at Liverpool, too, is far from certain. Real Madrid have revived their interest in Konate, who is out of contract at Liverpool at the end of the season. Our transfer insider, Graham Bailey, has reported that Liverpool have made it clear to Konate that they need a final answer from him on his future by Easter. We understand that senior figures at Liverpool do not want the situation to be unresolved when the season ends. Liverpool want to hand Konate a new contract and are in talks with the France international centre-back. Get the inside story first by joining our Team Talk Facebook channel to receive the latest breaking and exclusive news straight into your messenger inbox. Newcastle United identify Sandrone Tonali replacement.
Graham Bailey has also reported Liverpool's interest in Newcastle United midfielder Sandrone Tonali. Tonali was offered to Arsenal on the final day of the winter transfer window, and Liverpool have since joined the race for the Italy international midfielder. Newcastle do not want to sell Tonali, but the Premier League club are in the process of identifying potential replacements. According to Caught Offside, Newcastle United want former Liverpool midfielder Tyler Morton as Tonali's replacement. Liverpool sold Morton to Lyon in the summer of 2025, and the 23-year-old's performances for the League One club have impressed Newcastle.
News headline: VAR verdict reached after Man City vs. Liverpool farce with changes demanded. The big debate. After the latest VAR controversy at the end of Liverpool vs. Manchester City, our reporters suggest some ideas to improve the current system. I know what you're thinking, not another VAR debate, but here's the thing. We know VAR is going nowhere. Football's lawmakers have decided it is the present and the future, so that is that. But how can we improve the current system? The technology was on everyone's lips again on Sunday after the disallowed goal at the conclusion of Liverpool's defeat by Manchester City at Anfield. It didn't change the result, but the Reds will now be without Dominik Szoboszlai for their trip to Sunderland on Wednesday night, while City will be hoping they don't lose out on the title by a single goal. The correct decision was ultimately reached after a lengthy delay, but at what cost? Our reporters have their say on how VAR should be tweaked to stop us all from banging our heads against the wall. John Cross: we simply cannot go back with VAR, so we have to go forward. My idea is quite simple. Introduce set VAR teams. If you have the same ref, the same linos, the same team with the same VARs, that way you get understanding between the group. You get a level of consistency that is missing from Premier League games. You would also get a clearer understanding between the group as to when VAR jumps in, what constitutes handball, when a red card should be awarded for a denial of a clear and obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and all manner of subjective decisions. Yes, I get that it only covers consistency in each group, but anything which can be done to raise standards and improve understanding is a good thing. Now the professional game match officials, PGMO, have fewer but more specialized VARs, but say it is nigh on impossible to have teams. Why? Because each week certain refs can't do games because they are known supporters, like Michael Oliver and Newcastle, for example. It is a tall order, but it would help where possible in my view. Fans, players, managers just want consistency. Jeremy Cross: the obvious choice would be to scrap it, but this would mean football rulers admitting a huge mistake in introducing it in the first place. So if we have to continue with such a farcical process, how about picking people with common sense and brains to use it? You can have all the technology in the world, but if someone cannot interpret scenarios with a modicum of intelligence, then there's no point having it in the first place, which leads to scenarios like the laughable one at Anfield. The whole system needs to undergo a complete overhaul ahead of next season. Offsides should be awarded with immediate effect, for example, instead of allowing play to continue and risk a player getting injured. Andy Dunn: if you think VAR is a tortuous, flawed process right now, then wait until it is being used for second yellow cards and bookings at the World Cup. That should hurry things along a bit. As it happens, the incident at the end of the Liverpool-Manchester City game is actually a rare one that should not be used as a stick with which to beat VAR. It was freakish, but VAR implemented the rules. The fundamental problem with VAR, though, is quite clearly the inordinate amount of time some interventions are taking, which is why we need to re-establish, if it was ever established in the first place, the clear and obvious principle. And to focus the minds of the VAR officials on that principle, perhaps we could do away with the process of referring the referee to the pitchside TV monitor. If the VAR decision was final, would he or she intervene in borderline situations, in pushing and pulling situations, in debatable handball situations? It would at least save a bit of time, and anything that saves a bit of time in modern football is welcome. Dan Marsh: my biggest gripe with VAR is it doesn't do what it says on the tin. It's meant to be for clear and obvious errors, but sadly it feels like the people running it absolutely lose all common sense just when it's required most. Clear and obvious means clear and obvious, and yet how many utterly absurd calls have we seen? The implementation of technology doesn't have to hinder the game. Look at goal line technology and how effective that has been. No thrills, no fuss. Sadly, I can never see VAR following suit.
In terms of how we can make it more bearable, I wouldn't be opposed to a cap on timings. Basically, if we're having to look at something 10 times over to see if there's an infringement, it's not clear and obvious. Let's give the Stockley Park gurus 60 seconds tops to identify an infringement or play on. No more 5-minute light investigations, please. If we're stuck with VAR, let's at least do away with these ridiculous long waits for decisions. James Whaling. I watch a whole range of sports outside of football, and rest assured, video technology is not perfect in any of them. However, football is the worst, by a distance. So, what can football learn from other sports that have a smoother process? I think cricket is, by and large, the best example of using technology sparingly and with greatest effect. It's dependent on the captains reviewing an on-field decision they disagree with. They are allowed 3 unsuccessful challenges per innings in test matches, after which the on-field decision stands. In rugby league, there is also a captain's challenge. Each team is allowed 1 unsuccessful challenge per game. If the evidence is inconclusive, the referee's decision stands, but the team retain their review. I think if each captain in football was given 2 unsuccessful challenges per game, it would cut out the number of long reviews and make sure only game-changing moments are reviewed, as captains will not want to waste their challenges.
Ex-Premier League referee explains why VAR was right in Man City versus Liverpool controversy. Craig Pawson and VAR controversially intervened to disallow a Manchester City goal and send Dominic Szoboszlai off at the end of Liverpool's defeat to Pep Guardiola's side. Mark Halsey insisted that referee Craig Pawson had no choice but to rule out what would have been Manchester City's 3rd goal during the dramatic finale of their 2-1 win over Liverpool on Sunday, despite a significant backlash to the decision. Liverpool were chasing the game after 2 goals in 9 minutes from Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland had nudged City into the ascendancy and sent Alisson up for a corner. City broke, and as a long-range effort from Ryan Shirky trickled towards the goal, Dominic Szoboszlai pulled Haaland back to prevent him getting to the ball. The Norwegian striker retaliated before both lost their footing just before the ball crossed the line. But although Pawson chose to allow the goal to stand after playing advantage for Szoboszlai's foul on Haaland, VAR intervened and recommended a review, which led to the decision being overturned and a red card being issued to the Liverpool midfielder. Fans and pundits alike have slammed the decision, but Halsey, who spent years refereeing in the Premier League, has explained why Pawson was right to change his mind. Craig Pawson had no choice but to rule out what would have been Manchester City's 3rd goal against Liverpool in the sun. Credit to Craig, he was waiting to see what happened when Ryan Shirky sent the ball towards an unguarded net in stoppage time with City 2-1 up. Dominic Szoboszlai pulled Erling Haaland back, but Craig waits to see if Haaland can still get to the ball. That doesn't happen, so when Haaland then pulls Szoboszlai back, that is stopping the Liverpool player from preventing the ball from going into the net. No advantage had been signaled, so once VAR John Brooks calls Craig across, he has no choice. He has got to look at the first offense, the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. Craig was correct in law. People will be saying, why didn't he just give the goal? But Haaland's pullback stopped the Liverpool player from clearing the ball. While Halsey commended Pawson for following the laws of the game, others have questioned the outcome. Gary Neville, commentating for Sky Sports, said after the VAR call, "Talk about a killjoy. They have just killed one of the great moments of the season." Haaland himself sympathized with Szoboszlai, but said he understood why Pawson had to follow the rules, telling Sky Sports, "I think for me, of course, the referee has to follow the rules. This will give him 3 games. I feel bad for him. He gets 3 games. Just give the goal. Don't give the red card." While Halsey commended Pawson for following the laws of the game, others have questioned the outcome. Gary Neville, commentating for Sky Sports, said after the VAR call, "Talk about a killjoy. They have just killed one of the great moments of the season."
Haaland himself sympathized with Szoboszlai, but said he understood why Pawson had to follow the rules, telling Sky Sports, "I think for me, of course, the referee has to follow the rules. This will give him 3 games. I feel bad for him. He gets 3 games. Just give the goal. Don't give the red card."